Yo, what is going on, everybody? My name is Crimzon, and welcome back to another Valorant video. So, today we are analyzing the patch notes for 1.0.1. To be honest, I did not expect an update to come this quickly after the full game was released, but I'll be honest, it still felt like I was playing the beta game when they released the full game, so I'd say it's justified. Anyway, so I just wanted to check this out, give you guys my 2 cents, see what you guys think as well. And yeah, I mean, that's about it. Just give me a like, a comment, a sub if you enjoy it. If you enjoy the gameplay too, I did some cheeky Sage gameplay, even though I don't play Sage that much. But got a quick, 30 bomb, so I'm not going to flex on it, but, it is what it is. So yeah, here we go. So as much as I'd like to save this for last, as I feel like I have the most to say about it, more than any other update that's come, but it's the first thing that my eyes glance to when I open the patch notes page, so I'll just talk about it first. Sage, for some reason, I don't know why personally, got another nerf, but no nerf to Reyna, interestingly enough, who I greatly feel, who has been fucked in the ass, for lack of a better term, multiple times by Reyna's abilities. I kind of wish it was her that got a nerf and not Sage, but it is what it is. So they reduced Sage's barrier orb from 20 to 10 meters. Let me tell you, reading the patch notes, that doesn't sound like a big difference, but when you go in game and if you played Sage before, holy shit, that is a big motherfucking difference. I'm not going to lie to you. So their reasoning behind it, you can see here. As a Sentinel, Sage is supposed to be the most effective when defending territory that she already controls. The 20-meter cast range was allowing Sage to aggressively take control of neutral territory in a way that was inappropriate for her role in Valorant. So what I'm getting from this is saying that players were using her character in the way that it wasn't intended, I guess, and to the extent where you could just kind of push up and just put the wall down and it would completely thwart the attacking side. So I guess it's justified in that extent. I just wish they wouldn't keep nerfing her. But it is what it is. Then it says this range reduction aims to keep her strong while defending territory, but reduce her efficacy at taking ground. So I guess it makes sense to an extent, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to be sad about it, because I really wish that they would have nerfed Reyna instead, which I feel like a Reyna nerf is about to come anyway, but this was not the first time that they nerfed Sage, so that's why it's kind of surprising. And I mean, I'm biased because I would probably buff Sage if I was in control of that at Riot, but at the end of the day, hopefully Sage gets a buff at some point in Valorant's career. I mean, give her 15 meters. Give her wall 15 meters instead of 20 or 10. Like, I feel like 10's too little, 20 fine, too much. You're getting too much power. Just make it 15 meters. So yeah, for some reason they don't want their healer to have as big a part of a game as it should, unfortunately. So in contrast to the Sage situation, the next update, the map updates, I actually kind of like. They fixed a little thing with Ascent, and then this one I like, modified several callout names to better match player terms. So I guess they realized that the names they had in game were inaccurate with what pretty much everyone was using in the community, and then they changed it, which is pretty cool. So I can appreciate that. They're redeeming themselves a little bit here. So next up, Spike Rush update. Okay, so they just added some orbs. I've already been playing Spike Rush since the update a little bit, so they added the orbs and then they added the golden gun, which is actually pretty cool. And I feel like it makes it more into like an arcade style game mode that Valorant should definitely have. As someone that like doesn't even always want to commit to a full game, like I'm someone that has a short as fuck attention span. Let me tell you that right now. So as someone that has that and like gets bored after playing like a few full games, it's awesome to have Spike Rush and to make it as like a arcadey style, somewhat luck based, but also like pretty fun game mode. So I appreciate the Spike Rush updates and the new orbs, etc. So although this isn't the most all-around meatiest update that we'll ever have for Valorant, I feel like there's some good quality content still here in the performance updates that have been fixed. If you know anything about me, you know that I have definitely had my fair share of problems with running Valorant just in general. So any performance updates are very good to see that they fix. So they start off this section by saying, our performance work this patch primarily focuses on improving performance during combat and general performance improvements for high-spec machines. The game should feel even smoother in combat, and many scenes will likely have higher average FPS depending on your spec. Grateful to hear that. I'm very happy to hear higher FPS. They still haven't came through on their 35 ping promise, and for some reason, as more and more of the game continues to release, I feel like less and less that that's gonna be a thing that happens. But you know, one can hope. I'm probably gonna play the game regardless, so one can hope. Anyway, next up, combat perf. We were able to fix a number of things causing dips during combat. That was a major problem, let me tell you, among plenty of people I saw, or just around social media, I guess just in the community, had this problem. Whenever you would start a gunfight, FPS would just drop, like a noticeable drop, and it'd be, I mean, obviously it's the most aggravating time for FPS to drop is when you're starting a gunfight, so I'm glad they fixed that. Skins for 9 out of 10 players were failing to preload in the game. The first time you'd come across these skins in game, you'd experience a drop in frame rate. That's pretty funny. Reduced frame dips that would occur when a kill callout was added or removed to the HUD. I respect that. Improved the performance of the Viper specific HUD element, which had some performance issues. I didn't notice any performance issues when I played Viper, but still, I'm glad they did that. Fortunately, because I'm part of the 1%, I have a high-spec PC, thus making this next section very relevant. We were able to improve CPU bottlenecks in a few places across the code as well. Lower spec machines may still benefit from some of these improvements, but would only see the gains during combat. Added multi-threaded rendering support for high-end machines. Sweet. If your machine meets the requirements to benefit, you will see a new option to turn it off or on from the graphics quality menu. That's great to see these various performance updates continue to be added, because some of the stuff like the FPS drops you notice you get angry with all the time, but like I feel like some of the other things you just kind of start to accept, so it's good to see that they're fixing stuff like this. And then also multi-threaded rendering improves in scenes where the cost of managing objects that need to be rendered exceeds the cost of the game simulation and the cost of actually rendering the scene on the GPU. Okay, these conditions mostly occur when moving through scenes with lots of objects visible, and in cases where the game simulation doesn't require much work. Understandable. And then some more multi-threaded fixes, and then they reworked the client performance stats to include a more detailed breakdown of frame times. Pretty sick. Interestingly, under quality of life here, the first thing is they made Soba's recon dart more consistent, which I didn't know that they'd do anything about that, but it's pretty cool. It says it will behave more consistently and only reveal the portion of enemies behind a wall. That's pretty sick. Added a setting that allows the inventory to always appear. Pings will no longer draw over allies and enemies when placed behind them. So you have to actually be accurate with that, because I realized that too when I was playing. Even if you're just kind of half-ass pinging it, it'll still go over the enemies. Transition out of game now shows the map you just played. That's true. Instead of Brimstone and Sage walking into a teleporter. That's pretty sick. I'm really glad they changed that. I don't know why. It's just the aesthetics. I appreciate the minor aesthetic changes. And then also this one, speaking of which, I really like this one. In the shooting range, changing character now uses a lightweight and more performant UI than the flow going into a match, which is awesome. I feel like it just makes it so much easier with the tiny icons, and I'll add a screenshot of that because it's just so much better. Missions on the end of game screen are now sorted by completion and by type. Okay, cool. Minor visual improvements to contract and battle pass rewards. Fair enough. Sounds cool. Lastly, probably my favorite part is the bug fixes, even though they're helping Reyna out here. So the first one, they fixed where translucent particles would show through Reyna's near sight. They fixed Reyna's screen. They fixed, they kind of fixed Reyna's overheal health, and then a couple things with Cypher. Cypher spy cameras placed on the teleporter door frames on bind no longer teleport its view location underground. Okay. And Cypher's cyber cage no longer holds the teleporter doors on bind open. The Cypher fixes are pretty interesting to me, because I feel like I've never been in a situation where someone put their Cypher cage in the teleporter doors on bind and then to leave it open, which I didn't know that was a thing. And same with the other cipher thing, but I still respect that they, you know, that they changed it. So anyway, for the rest of these bug fixes, I'm just gonna, there's a lot, so I'm not gonna go through every single one, but I'm gonna pick a few of the most interesting ones that I feel like are the biggest bug fixes and give my 2 cents. So some of these are just funny things that you'd like encounter in game that I'm very happy they fixed, even though it's not really that big of a deal. Fixed a bug where dead players' first-person arms would appear to be floating in the air. I'm glad they did that. Fixed a bug where activating a spray could exit ADS while firing. I never ADS, so yeah, that's my, as someone that came from CS:GO, I just don't. I guess I'm better when I don't. Fix a bug with a bullet tracer setting. Having this setting active used to also disable muzzle flash on some weapons in addition to tracers. That's a good fix that I feel like will kind of go under the radar. And some of these last few ones, for me at least, are just a sight to behold, because they're bugs that I have encountered often, and it's good to see them here. So, fixed a voice input/output devices and settings not persisting across sessions. I'm glad to see other people had that problem. I had that problem, and I googled it, and I don't think anyone else had that problem. Like, there were, usually you'll find like a Reddit post about it, or like just even a website that just, where so many people had the problem that they just made a page to fix it, but no. So apparently other people did have that problem, which I'm very glad, and because like my mic would just like stop working at like round 5 or 6. Like it'd be fine up to that point, and then just wouldn't work for the rest of the game, and I would either have to restart or just, you know, play through it without any comms whatsoever, assuming I'm not playing with my friends and I'm in Discord. So very, very glad. Cannot explain how glad I am to see that one. And then similar to that one, a few rows down here, fixed an issue whispering players of the same name / general DM improvements, and then improved chat service error messaging. For some reason, chat just like doesn't work. Like I'll open the game and then chat service is just like instantly gone after like 5 minutes of just sitting in the home screen. So I don't know why that was a problem. The voice chat and the chat box, same situation, but I'm very glad they're fixed, and I feel like that's one of the main reasons why this update was necessary, is because I was still having like beta problems in a fully released game. Or, you know, I'm saying because I'm an egotistical moron, but, you know, most people were having these problems in a game that should be, you know, I feel like a bit more complete. So that's where this update comes necessary to me. In terms of the nerf, I don't think it's necessary, but it is what it is, and we'll just have to deal with it. Hopefully Arena fix will come soon, and hopefully they do nothing more with Phoenix, because I love Phoenix, and I don't want him to get nerfed. So all in all, guys, I can complain all I want about Sage, but the truth is I'm very glad this is an update. I'm very glad they came through with this. I'd say it's a solid 7 out of 10 update on the Crimzon scale. Very, very glad they made this update, and yeah, I think that's about it in terms of the juicy information. But anyways, guys, that's about it from me today. If you enjoyed, please show some support on the video. Just give me a like, a quick comment, quick subscribe. It only takes a couple seconds. This channel is still pretty new, so I need all the support I can get. I'm going to try to grind out as many Valorant videos as I can, as often as I can. I'm not the most consistent uploader in the grand scheme of things, but I'll try my hardest. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you later.